Hello. This is our first live cast on YouTube, so we're going to see how this goes. Welcome to election 2020. And if you'll pardon me, I'm going to be doing a few things just to get everything updated. Hopefully I don't, there we go. Just making sure we get everything onto our own website, because it would suck not to have that. Just a second. For us, it's just me tonight. And we should be live now on both YouTube and our website. So yes, and we are alive. So let's see what's going on. And we have no viewers right now. That will change, I hope. All right. As of, it is now around 7:45 Central Time. Right now we are looking at a few states have already reported in. The latest one was Arkansas, which went to Donald Trump, which also surprises absolutely no one. Pardon me. Oh, and it looks like we have a little bit of a glitch with the AP. They're probably getting refreshed to death right now. But we do have a few states that are reporting in. Illinois has gone for Biden, which pretty much everyone expected. And just also sharing a few things from our own sites. Dick Durbin has been reelected to the U.S. Senate from Illinois. Again, that didn't surprise anyone. We knew that was going to happen. Let's see. Still trying to get back the AP. I hope they haven't gone down completely. We are always happy to take commentary from people, comments, viewers, what have you. So feel free to chime in. And okay, AP News seems to be down. So we are going to go to NPR. They seem to be usually pretty good. NPR right now is listing Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia as going for Trump. Virginia, Maryland, Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Illinois have gone for Biden. They do show that Ohio and North Carolina are leaning to Biden, but they have not called it yet. Florida is leaning to Trump, but only by a little bit. They're at just over 50% in Florida, with just over 50% of the vote going to Trump, like 50.9%. Biden is at 52% and in North Carolina, and he's at 54, a good solid 54.9% in Ohio. So there's hope. In Texas, with about 48% of the vote counted, it's a dead heat. It is, Biden is at 49.8 and Trump is at 48.9. It's close. They're not calling it yet. So this is going to be a long night. Polls in the West have not closed yet, so we're not going to get numbers from that. So furthest west we've gotten is basically Texas. Wow. Kansas, with 37% of the vote, is going 53.6% for Biden, but they aren't calling it yet. South Dakota hasn't even closed yet. North Dakota, it looks like it's leaning to Trump, but again, they've only gotten 7% of the vote in yet, so we still got a ways to go. No votes counted yet in Minnesota or Wisconsin. Trump is at 57% in Michigan. However, only 10% of the vote has been counted, so we still got a ways to go. And wow, it's only 7% of the votes has been counted in Pennsylvania. However, Biden is at 77.5% there, so that's a pretty nice lead. So this is gonna be a long and bumpy night. Now let's see if we can get back to the AP News. Still nothing from the AP, but we are still following other sources pretty closely. Let me turn on this sound a little bit.
Let's bring in NPR's White House correspondent Tamara Keith and political correspondent Scott Detrow, who is following the Biden campaign. And I'd love for both of you to look at North Carolina. It's a state that Donald Trump carried 4 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, NPR just put Texas to leaning to Biden at 51.5% of the vote. So, and that's at 53% counted. So Biden looks to be pulling ahead in Texas, it's not definite yet though. So again, and we may not know the final winner until like later this week. I hope we have an idea sooner than that, but we'll find out later.
And Scott Detrow, tell us about how the Biden campaign is approaching North Carolina. This is, if you take the top 6 states that both campaigns, this was probably the state of the Sun Belt states, where Arizona, North Carolina, Florida. This is the state that the Biden campaign is about, especially in the earlier part of the night. They feel very good about Arizona, but we're not going to have hours. It's a state where Biden spent a lot of time on Harris, a lot of time, all of the surrogates of the campaign were making their way through North Carolina. It's also a state that a significant number of those early ballots were.
And I seem to have lost that connection. Oh, see if I can get the AP again. It seems like everyone is online. And please excuse the cat who decided he's going to be a color commentator for the election. This is Gator. Gator, say hello to your public. So now let's see what else is going on. If there's any news that we need to be aware of. Arkansas went for Trump, which again, no one is surprised at. Durbin winning Illinois. Right now I'm just trying to get the AP to work like it's supposed to. Because I'm still trying to get into, am I even online?
Unfortunately, but just briefly, how do you feel the night is going? Well, I feel hopeful. I mean, I'm looking at Ohio with 50% in, and Biden's got a 10-point lead. He's outperforming Trump in a number of counties.
Oh yeah, Biden is ahead by 10 full points in Ohio so far, with 50%, 55% of the code in, vote in. It's a closer race in Texas, but he is still ahead with 50.5%. Excuse me. He's fine, don't worry. He's just scratching his ear and glaring at me at this point. So,
clearly, it has been a big split within the Democratic Party. If indeed,
right now, let's see with
how do you see it playing out? Well, we have been very united in getting to
right now, it looks like New Hampshire is leaning toward Biden, as is Pennsylvania, Missouri, and Kansas. North Dakota and Michigan are both leaning toward Trump, as is Georgia and Florida. But Trump's decently ahead in Georgia. Trump has 56% of the vote in Georgia, but only a third of the votes in. 90% of the votes in Florida. Well, as far as we know, I mean, it's Florida. 50.9% for Trump, 48.2% for Biden. So it's a much closer race. Trump is more than 10 points ahead in North Dakota, but again, that surprises no one. Pretty far ahead in Michigan. However, only 12% of the votes in there, so we're still early. Maine looks like it's leaning toward Trump, but if we take all the leaning and call states, Biden is actually ahead in the Electoral College with 85. Trump has 72. So we're still going pretty strong now. We saw, and it's still very early. The polls in Illinois have only been closed for an hour. In other states, they've only been closed for a couple hours. So we still got a ways to go.
Things like expanding the Affordable Care Act, things like addressing climate change, things like passing a $15 minimum wage are incredibly popular. And I don't think that the socialist Teddy Roosevelt, through, FDR and Lyndon Johnson. So I think this is something that people understand is a label. And I don't think most people buy the idea that wanting healthcare for everyone is socialist. Most people want healthcare. They want a higher paying job. They want us to listen to scientists. They believe that we should address climate change. We'll have to leave it there. I think that's
And I'm still having trouble getting into the AP website.
great. We'll be right back. This is live special coverage for the 2020 election.
So if there's anything anyone would like to participate in, or if people would like to join in on the live stream, go ahead and give me a holler.
Associated Press and the new poll, the coronavirus pandemic is top of mind for many voters in Illinois. 46% said they the issue facing the country today. The results are considered 9% of healthcare, 8%, 4% on climate change as the most important issue. 8 o'clock and WWIS HD Springfield, WIPA Pittsfield, Public Radio. From NPR News, this is special coverage of the 2020 election. I'm Ari Shapiro.
And I'm Lulu Garcia Navarro. It's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. The majority of polls have now closed. No huge surprises so far, but it's still too early to call key states like Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida.
It's also too early to say which party will control the Senate, but we know that the Republicans, whether in the majority or the minority, will likely be led by Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell. He has defeated challenger Amy Grant.
People of Kentucky had a clear choice, and they sent a clear message. Tonight, Kentuckians said that challenging times need proven leadership.
Stay with us as we continue to track developments in the races across the country.
Let's go now to NPR's Domenico Montanaro, who has the latest results here at 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Domenico, what did we learn?
Hey there. Well, first of all, I just want to say I think that we need to express some patience overall with these results as they come in. I think people want to jump to a lot of conclusions because they think they see vote going one way or another. And I think that we have to be ready for the fact that we could see a very weird map. This could be one of those years where some surprising things happen. We're not 100% sure what this realignment could mean.
You're saying not all Sunbelt states are created equal, not all upper Midwestern states are created equal. The fact that Trump carried Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Ohio last year doesn't necessarily mean that all those states are going to go one way or the other.
And right now, yeah, AP is officially calling Indiana for Trump, which, again, not surprising. But he won it by, I think, a smaller percentage.
Like it's trending in President Trump's direction. 90% of the vote in, he's up by 3 percentage points and about 300,000 or more votes.
So
if you look at a place like North Carolina, Joe Biden is leading with 75% of the vote in by 4 percentage points. Look at Ohio, with more than half the vote in, Joe Biden is up by 8 percentage points. Even Texas.
yeah, just watching everything right now.
Georgia, another one of those places where let's see how some of this stuff plays out before.
Seriously, absolutely no one surprised at Indiana going for Trump. I mean,
really close. We could be in
Indiana.
Where this goes on for days because we're waiting to see what those absentee and mail-in ballots say.
Yeah. I want to just jump in and say that President Trump, according to the Associated Press, has won South Dakota and Wyoming, both reliably Republican states. Domenico, we've talked so much about the different demographic groups that the two campaigns have been trying to win over, particularly suburban voters, also college-educated white voters. What are we seeing this year in the results that we have so far?
Well, if you look at a state like North Carolina, for example, right now Biden is actually doing better than Hillary Clinton did in a place like Mecklenburg County, where Charlotte is, and that doesn't just include Charlotte. That includes a lot of the outer lying areas. There is a significant Black population in Charlotte. Look at a county like Wake County, where Joe Biden's also outpacing what Hillary Clinton did in 2016. That's right in the heart of the research triangle, where there's a big reason for why the state has shifted from pretty red to more purple.
Oh, and a few more seats look like they have been called.
Who have now started to vote more overwhelmingly toward Democrats. In Ohio, it does look like
Looks like North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Wyoming have all gone. Well, it looks like they've gone, but I'm not seeing any numbers about how many votes have been reported in. They've been called. Those states have been called for Trump, but I'm not gonna say anything definite. New York seems to have been called for Biden, which again, not surprising. Again, still trying to see how confirmed that is. This is all appointment, but it looks like a few states haven't called. We're still waiting to hear back. Looks like Colorado is leaning toward Biden. And so right now, it looks like Biden is looking at a possible 119 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 92.
Manager Frank Marskell had talked about as one of those states, but it just never kind of came online for them this year. And a big reason for that is because of the high Latino population. And when we've been talking about Latinos tonight, we're talking about Florida. And Florida's population of Latinos are very different than some of the Latinos.
So just waiting now. And if y'all will excuse me, I need to take a little bit of a break. I will talk to you soon. And I'm back. Looking at the other races, from what I've heard, seen, ABC and NBC are both projecting Biden to win New York State. Again, not a surprise. NBC.
Early in that.
The Senate race in Michigan does not look good. Right now, the Republican challenger is up by a lot. So just watching. Okay, the latest from the AP. Trump has added 5 more states and Biden has added 2 states. Trump has Louisiana, Nebraska, Nebraska's 3rd congressional district, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. Again, not surprising for any of those. And Biden has won New Mexico and New York. Again, not surprising. So with those numbers, let's see. I think that brings Biden up to, let's see how many, still projected for 119 electoral votes. He's still ahead, but still, we've also got a long ways to go. According to the chart through the Associated Press, Trump is leading in Minnesota and Wisconsin, but in both those states, only 1% of the vote has come in. So way too early to make any assumptions about those. He's still ahead in Michigan, but again, that has not been called. Georgia and Florida are still leaning toward Trump. Georgia has 91% of their vote reporting, and Trump is at 51.2%. Biden is at 47.9%. So it's still close, and they have not called the state yet. And with past experience, no one's going to call Florida anytime soon because that is still a battleground state. Much of the East Coast, except for Florida and Georgia and Maine, are solidly blue right now. Biden's leading in Pennsylvania and North Carolina, and they're projecting Biden in Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. So we'll see how far this keeps going. Hopefully we get more before too long.
Officials are insisting that they do support the governor's new COVID-19 restrictions, which as of midnight tonight will be replaced with all regions in the state. Now, they're saying that despite coming up with a plan that will delay enforcement of a ban on indoor dining and drinking for 2 weeks. Mary Hansen.
And NPR is saying that Biden has 119 electoral votes to Trump's 94. So we're still, we still got a ways to go.
By the virus, to get the virus, that's very serious. But I know on the other side of the equation, individuals,
that did not get help when they needed it. And that had the same dire consequences.
Local officials say their medical advisors support the plan and will continue to track COVID-19 infections closely. If the positivity rate climbs above 12%, the county and city will ban indoor service. The governor says not enforcing the ban now will lead to more infections, hospitalizations, and even deaths. I'm Mary Hansen.
It's 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. It's 60 degrees. Tomorrow's outlook.
Yeah, NPR is not even suggesting who's ahead in Minnesota, Wisconsin, or Michigan, or Pennsylvania for that matter. So we still have a ways to go.
Drexel's academic model is designed
Missouri,
to
only 4%, 14% in, and it does seem to be leaning toward Biden, as is Kansas. But again, still very early to say. Colorado looks to be leaning toward Biden, but again, way too early to call.
And I'm Lou Garcia. Navarro polls have now closed in all but 10 states. And while we await results in key swing states like Pennsylvania and Florida, so far there have been no major surprises in this presidential race.
Red states like South Dakota, Wyoming, and Louisiana have gone to President Donald Trump as expected. He currently has 94 electoral votes according to the AP, and former Vice President Joe Biden has won.
Yeah, we're still going.
He has 119 electoral votes.
Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, meanwhile, has held on to his seat in Kentucky, though it's still too early to say, but his party will hold on to its majority in the Senate. And to talk about that, we are joined now by Sue Davis, NPR congressional correspondent. Hello.
Hey, Lulu.
So first, I want to bring up the fact that the AP has called that Republican Marjorie Greene wins re-election to the U.S. House in Georgia's 14th congressional district. Excuse me, that's Marjorie Greene. Can you tell me the significance of that?
Sure. Well, she did win re-election. She's a first-time candidate.
That's what I meant. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It was an open seat. It was a solidly Republican seat. This is not a swing seat. So it's no surprise that a Republican candidate would win this seat. What has made her a candidate of interest this cycle is she is someone who has embraced sort of far-right conspiracy theories, in particular the QAnon conspiracy theory that has spread wildly across the internet in recent years, and puts Donald Trump at the center of it, and largely accuses Democrats of all kinds of conspiratorial crimes. And it's obviously rather controversial. She was a sort of a firebrand candidate. She won the primary against sort of an establishment-backed Republican, and winning that primary in this district means she's almost certainly to go on to win. President Trump embraced her in this race.
Let's see what does.
An endorsement.
And I'm going to be obsessively refreshing everything tonight.
It speaks to sort of the Trump effect on the Republican Party that we've seen play out over the past 4 years. This is the kind of candidate that not too long ago the Republican Party would have rejected outright, and now she's being embraced at the very top of the ticket.
I mean, that is something that is extraordinary. I mean, we should remind our listeners that QAnon is this very, very far-out conspiracy that has tried to be, that has proliferated and has been banned on social media platforms. They tried to crack down on it. And the fact that she openly supports
NBC is calling the District of Columbia for Biden. 3 electoral votes, and again, that surprises no one.
Sure, I mean, she's not alone there. There are other candidates that have embraced QAnon conspiracy theories that made it onto the ballot this year. Not all are going to win. Many won Republican primaries in very Democratic-friendly places, but it does suggest that it's gotten a foothold in the Republican Party. There was some frustration in Congress that the minority leader, Kevin McCarthy, didn't do more to try to force her out of that race or not embrace her. She's going to.
And New York has definitely been called. New York and New Mexico, definitely, which we knew already. Now just waiting. Oh. And just watching everything with this, and nothing's for sure yet. However, there is some news. Delaware just elected the first trans state senator in the country. Sarah McBride has won her race for the Delaware State Senate. We do have other trans office holders, but she's the first one to be a state senator. Vermont has elected its first out transgender legislature. And Florida just voted their first out state senator, Chevron Jones, who is actually going to be one of 2 black gay men in a state senate. So there is some good news from across the country. See what else, see if there's anything else popping up. It's going to be a long night. Now remember, there is a chance we may not know a winner tonight simply because so many votes are actually being counted now, even though they've been coming in for a while now. Here in Illinois, the early vote was actually, this year was actually double what it was in 2016. Over 3 million early votes out of 5 million registered voters. So this is pretty impressive. I'm still hoping that Ohio is still, Biden's still in the lead in Ohio. He seems to be in the lead in Pennsylvania, but they're not even suggesting that he's leading there. NPR isn't saying for sure if he's leading. He's ahead in Texas still, which is mind-boggling. Biden is still ahead. Yeah, these are states where no one's given a definite winner or project or said who's really ahead, but Biden seems to be at least ahead in the vote count in Missouri, Pennsylvania, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and Colorado. Nothing on Utah, Arizona, California, though we know California's going to go blue. Nevada, Idaho, Montana, Washington State, or Oregon. And God knows how long it's going to be before Alaska and Hawaii get checked in. In Illinois, Biden is actually ahead here in Sangamon County, the state capital. Cairo seems to be ahead in Cairo as well. So let me just see who.
Keep you updated. Live in the Live Center, Chris Carter, WABC. For another race on every Illinois ballot, the race for U.S. Senator, incumbent Dick Durbin is declared the winner. He was the winner.
Yeah, during WAN-TV in Springfield is calling the race for U.S. Senator for Durbin, which again, no one's surprised at. Betsy Dirksen Londrigan actually does seem to be ahead for the 13th district. So the 13th district, which is Central Illinois, stretching from Bloomington down to the Metro East, has been solid Republican. She is at 65%. However, only 2% of the precincts are reporting, so it's still early. But she's got 2/3 of the vote so far, which is impressive for that for this early. So yeah, I mean, so that's what's going on in Illinois. I have not seen anything about the fair tax amendment yet. A lot of the other races statewide haven't been huge. Well, if someone has information about those, please go ahead and let me know. I will be happy to share that information. And just, yeah, waiting. Oh, and let's see. Yeah, and NPR is now saying 122 electoral votes for Biden to Trump's 92. We still got a lot to go. They need some. A candidate needs 270 electoral votes to win, so we're not even at the halfway point. Okay. Oh, and Trump has just barely pulled ahead in Texas, so that's going to be a nail biter. It's Trump 49.4%, Biden 49.3%, which is that one block can change how that's going to be, and that's 64% of the vote in. So we're still, Texas is still up in the air, so it can still go either way. North Carolina is still too early to call, though Biden is got a relatively comfortable lead. So yeah, this is going to be fun. I may be drinking before too long. South Dakota has been called for Trump, which we knew. Oh boy. Biden seems to be comfortably ahead in Colorado, much slimmer lead in Kansas. And a slim lead on Ohio still. No one's calling it for Pennsylvania yet, but Biden seems to have a good solid lead. And unfortunately, Trump has a good solid lead in Michigan, again, neither Pennsylvania or Michigan have been called yet. Biden has pulled ahead in Minnesota now. So again, these things can be changing all night. Let's see where we're at. Please let there's been some kind of change in the past few minutes. Sure, I only updated it like what, 2 minutes ago? And nothing's changed. Let's see what the AP is saying. That Biden has won the District of Columbia, which we knew. We're still waiting to hear for sure on all the swing states: Arizona, Iowa, Georgia, Florida, Michigan, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Texas, and Wisconsin. Those are the ones to watch, and they're still in play, all of them. But looks like Colorado has been called for Biden. That's 9 electoral votes. Biden is out now up to 131 electoral votes. That is coming from NPR. Let's see. Oh, and South Carolina has definitely gone for Trump. Still waiting on Georgia. Georgia, no one's calling that as of yet, even with 47% of the vote in. Trump is slowly pulling ahead in Texas. It's still almost a dead heat, 49.6% to 49.1%, but it is still starting to widen. I don't know if all the big cities in that state have been counted yet, so just gotta wait. I will be getting alcohol before too long. And still absolutely nothing from Iowa, which is surprising. So yeah, still waiting. So just waiting. Have any other states been called yet? No. The AP just called Colorado for Biden. Which was not unexpected. So we're at 131 electoral votes for Biden now. Alright, I am going to go ahead and end this because I have like 2 viewers. So I will have her continue live blogging on Facebook and Twitter. And we'll see what happens, simply because there's all these gaps of nothing to do. So I will see you on the flip side, and hopefully tomorrow we'll have a clue. I hope. See everyone later.